Testing, 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 testing. Okay, here we go. And I tell you, everything's always good until I choose to go live. Then I might have to hit y'all with more recorded videos because these lives are starting to piss me off. But we're here, and I enjoy talking with the people. So that's really why I prefer doing the lives. A lot of times I have these technical difficulties. But I enjoy talking with y'all. I enjoy seeing your comments and stuff like that, responding to you in live time. So that's kind of why I stick with the lives over the recording videos. But I might have to switch it up. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Today we're going to jump right into it because it's getting late and I don't want to keep y'all up too late. Today, you see the topic of conversation, racism in corporate America. Is racism dead? Let's talk about it. Now, first, to give you some context why I landed on this topic for today, I will, give y'all some information about me, some background information about me. I work in tech. Tech is very, a very good industry to work in these days. It's a very growing industry. There's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of understanding as far as people from various backgrounds. You have people from India, you have people from America, you have people from China, you have people from all over the world, different cultures, different backgrounds. And in the realm of tech, we're able to all work together in order to accomplish a common goal. Now, I work in tech, and I'm very fortunate to have my job. Should this recording get back to my employers, I appreciate y'all. I'm so happy to have my job. It really is my dream job. I'm happy to have it. But today, I was working, and I was working with a new team. I'm a systems analyst, so I was working, and we have the technical side, and we have the business side. So I was meeting some new folks from the business side, and I found it curious, the first impression, because y'all see I'm out here with my dreads and stuff. Working in corporate America, you'd be surprised to see the reactions of people when you log into meetings, online meetings and stuff, and you're meeting new people, and they see, who is this black guy with dreads just swinging in this conversation? They're really surprised to see you in the meeting. And luckily, I'm pretty good at what I do. So as I begin to speak and we begin to work together, collaborate, it clicks in their mind like, okay, this person isn't just here by chance. This person actually has some intelligence, some ability. He's competent, and he's able to bring value to the team and to the company, which is why he's here. I think that's the impression that most of my coworkers would say about me, that regardless of, the dreads hanging, regardless of how I may look and dress, I think that they can see the value in the skills that I possess. They see the value in my ability my time management, my attention to detail, my ability to lead a team, specifically a technical team, an IT team, towards a common goal. But this interaction that I had today, I found really interesting, and it sparked this idea for today's conversation, which is racism dead? Like, is it even still a thing? If there's people like me with dreads who are able to get a job in quote unquote corporate America, then maybe there is no racism. My first, and this is going to be a bit of a stream of consciousness, so I appreciate everyone rocking with me. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button if you're enjoying the stream. The first time this thought crossed my head was back in, I want to say 2014, maybe 2015. We're moving about 10 years ago. At that time, I was working as a paralegal. I was working at a law firm. At this time, I don't even think I had my dreads at this time, but I was starting to grow my hair out. I was starting to play with, getting the fro. Everyone with dreads knows you have to go through an ugly duckling stage. You don't just wake up with long dreads and everyone's like, oh, I like your hair. No, you have to go through a stage where everyone's telling you, you need to cut your hair. When are you getting the haircut? Hey, that's not professional. You can't keep this job with that hair. Imagine going to law school. Imagine working at a law firm, working around lawyers who are clean shaven, and here you are showing up with a big beard and a big fro, and you're growing your hair out trying to be Afrocentric in corporate America. It's not the easiest thing to do. So this is when originally this thought first sprang in my mind. And over the years, it's kind of grown. My perspective on this topic has kind of changed. And today it reinvigorated it in me, and it made me want to speak on it. Here's what I have to say on this topic. And I'm going to play some clips to kind of, support my theory, support my hypothesis here. And shout out to Judge Joe Brown. He speaks on the fact that, over policing is not by chance. It's not that black people are just so violent, and black people are just criminals and everyone else is innocent. No, the issue with criminality in the black community is it has a lot to do with the labor market. It has to do with our ability to access jobs and compete with our counterparts. You see, going back to Jim Crow, and like I said, this is a bit of a stream of consciousness. So if you get it, you get it. If you have ears to hear, then you can hear it. If not, I might lose you on this one. But just listen to what I got to say. Try to ride with me and see where I'm going with this. When slavery ended, right? When slavery ended, then we came into Jim Crow. This is when policing, Jim Crow laws first came into place. They put laws in order to control and manipulate the labor market. They said, hey, if you are unemployed, if you are unemployed, go to prison. Not only that, if your employer is not white, go to prison. Not only that, if you're out on the street and you are soliciting, you're asking for money, go to prison. If you are outside with a group of people, such as a protest, go to prison. Many different laws were created to stop and hinder black people from accessing the labor market. Now you might say, hey, that was so long ago. That was, Jim Crow is done. Slavery is done. Why are we still talking about that in 2024? And this is where I would ask you, this is where I leave the question to you. If slavery is done, if not slavery, excuse me, I know slavery is done, but if racism is done, then why is it that people, specifically white people, are so surprised when they see somebody like me working in corporate America? That's a legitimate question. That's something that it might sound simple if you don't take the time to think about it. But if you take the time, sit down and think about, why is it that if somebody like me, black, dreads, walking down the street, do you think that this is the image? Is this the image that you would assume is a high-paid, six-figure earner in corporate America? Probably not, right? This is not the image. A black man with dreadlocks is not the image that snaps into your head when you're thinking about a six-figure earner in corporate America. But why is that? Why is it that down in Texas, they have students being suspended over dreadlocks? What difference does a student's hair make in their ability to read and comprehend, their ability to do math, their ability to participate in school activities? What difference does hair make? Racism is done. So I'm asking you legitimate questions. If you're not familiar with this story, I posted it on my live. Check out my story, and I'll link it to this story as far as Texas violating the Crown Act. A Texas high school has violated the Crown Act. The Crown Act is legislation specifically imposed, specifically written, so that people, specifically black people, would not continue to be discriminated on the basis of their hair. Why is this type of legislation necessary? The reason is because up until this day, and I'll ask you one more question before I give you my hypothesis and my reasoning here. Up until this day, if you have a car with four guys, four black guys riding in the car with dreads, why is it that the police are more likely to stop them? You got two cars. Let's say you have two cars riding in the same street, right? You got a car with four black people riding down the street, four black people with dreads, and you have a car with four white people, right? Four white people, gauged ears and pierced noses, right? Tattoos and gauged ears. Which car do you think is going to get pulled over first? I submit to you, it's going to be the car with the black guys and the dreadlocks. Why? Because there is an image. There is an image, and that image is based on racism. But overall, there is an image. And this image is perpetuated not only by people like me. I'm an upstanding citizen. I'm educated. I've been to college. I've been to law school. I work in corporate America. I make six figures today. So why is it that my image, the image of a proud black man, why is it that my image is also the image of a criminal? I submit to you that this is not by chance. I submit to you that this is the consequence of propaganda, first and foremost, our media, our movies, our music, the media, the propaganda that we are exposed to, especially as American citizens, but really as people all over the world. Propaganda has done an amazing job at negatively influencing the minds of the masses, which is why I'm here talking my trash every night, hoping that I can influence someone to have a different perspective. But propaganda is one, and two, I would say, is the intentional degradation, the intentional attack on the black male. The intentional attack on the black man. There are things that are done specifically and intentionally to black youth. They figure they can get you in their younger ages. I'm talking about black kids when they're teenagers, when they're in their early 20s. If they can get you when you're young and relatively dumb, relatively defenseless, relatively poor, because black, white, whatever, when you're a young teenager, you haven't done anything. You haven't had enough time to accumulate wealth. Most of us, the vast majority of us, have not had the time to accumulate and store our wealth. So they know that if you're a young man, you're in your teens or early 20s, you are a soft target, and if they can get you now, they can prevent you from being successful in the future. So really, enemy number one of the white supremacists is the young black man. The young black man. Now, as you get older, okay, they're kind of, all right, you're grown, you paid your dues, you've survived this far, so you must know something. Because they know that if they've done their job correctly, you should have been messed up before you got to your 30s and 40s and 50s. If the job of the white supremacist is done correctly, your life should be so altered in the route of negativity. By the time you get to your 30s, 40s, and 50s, you're already so far down the path of destruction, you're not something they got to worry about. They try to get you when you're young. I want to play a clip when I say that. When I compare, when I say that the black male youth specifically is target number one of white supremacists, this is what I mean. Exhibit A, we're going to go to Ethan Couch. If you haven't heard of Ethan Couch is a young white male. Ethan Couch was a young man who he robbed a liquor store, stole beer, threw a party, was involved in drunk driving. He killed 4 people. He injured others in a drunk driving crash. And he was able to be found he was given probation. He was given probation after stealing alcohol and killing 4 people. We'll give him probation. Why? Because he's white and affluent. You might not believe me. Maybe you don't believe me. Maybe you've never heard of this Ethan Couch guy who killed 4 people, stole alcohol, killed 4 people, injured others, and got probation. If you don't believe me, check this out.
10 years ago Thursday, Ethan Couch killed 4 people and injured several others in a drunk driving crash in Burleson. Couch was 16, crashing into a group of people who were helping 24-year-old Brianna Mitchell, who had broken down on the side of the road. Mitchell, Holly Boyles, her daughter Shelby Boyles, and youth pastor Brian Jennings all died. A passenger in Couch's truck paralyzed from the neck down. Investigators determined Couch's BAC was .24, 3 times the legal limit in Texas, that he had stolen beer from Walmart and was hosting a party just before the crash.
We were looking for 20 years.
Couch pleaded guilty to 4 counts of intoxication manslaughter and 2 counts of intoxication assault. All that was left to decide was sentencing. And things took a massive turn when Couch's defense pushed for leniency, claiming the teen suffered from affluenza. Simply put, Couch's attorneys argued that the teen had no moral compass, not knowing what was right from wrong due to his affluent upbringing.
I'm pretty sure there might even have been a chuckle in the back of the courtroom because it was just absurd.
Alpert didn't think the presiding judge, Honorable Gene Boyd, would entertain such a defense. Couch declined to have a jury decide his fate.
It's an insult to people that have resources and money, and it's an insult to people that don't, implying that there should be a double standard there.
Yet,
It's an insult. It's an insult to people who don't have money, specifically black people. Because if this was the child of a black artist, like if LeBron James' son, Bronny James, was involved in a drunk driving accident where he stole alcohol from Walgreens, hit and killed 4 people, including a youth pastor, caused his passenger to be paralyzed from the neck down, there is 0 chance that Bronny James is going to get probation. Oh, did I not allow you to see how that situation ended? Let's finish this off.
in December of 2013, an ask for 20 years of incarceration turned into just 10 years of probation.
The air was just
10 years of probation. Prosecution said this man stole alcohol from Walgreens. He pled guilty. So it's not, he didn't even contest it. He didn't say, no, it wasn't me. No, I was kidnapped. No, I was forced to do this. No, he said, yes, I did it. I stole alcohol from Walgreens. I drove while I was drunk. I hit and killed 4 people. The passenger in my car, they're paralyzed from the neck down. He denied none of it. Prosecution says, hey, listen to the man himself. He's telling you that he's done it. He has done these things. Yet he was found, instead of getting the 20 years for the murder, literally the manslaughter, the vehicular manslaughter of 4 different people, instead of giving him time for that, he gets 10 years of probation. Meaning, just stay in the house for a couple years until this wears off. You don't go to prison, you're not paying time, nothing. The reason for this double standard, this is an anecdotal, fine, you can say this is an anecdotal example, but the point that I'm trying to make here is that our youth, he was given this, Ethan Couch was given probation is because the youth, the Caucasian youth in particular, is seen as something that is protected, something that is sacred. You can tell just in the way that they receive their upbringing. It's a well-known joke, a well-known stereotype that white youth will talk to their, hey, forget you, mom. You know, you go to your room. I'm not going to my room, mom. They can talk to their parents any type of way, any type of disrespect, because they feel as though they are their youth. They are the sacred. They are the most important thing. So it's not surprising when he goes in, everyone's laughing like, what? You're going to plead to the judge that you have affluenza? You're too affluent? Affluenza means you're affluent. You're rich. I'm white and rich. I didn't know I couldn't steal alcohol from Walgreens. I didn't know I couldn't drink and drive and hit and kill 4 people. I didn't know I couldn't do that. I'm rich and white. What? I can't do that? The judge entertains, not only did she entertain this plea, not only did she entertain this excuse, she rewards it with probation. She rewards it with probation. Now I ask you, why is it that the youth, the white youth, is so sacred? I'm telling you that it's the school to prison pipeline. There's a pipeline here. There's an avenue, a road that is a roadmap for our lives. Yes, we have individual control. Yes, we over our own lives. We have sovereignty and responsibility and accountability over our own decisions. Yes, yes, that is true. But there's also such thing as social engineering. You have got to look up, you have got to Google, you have got to understand social engineering. There are factors outside of our control which seek to influence our decision making, which seek to influence our ability or the choices that we make. They want to influence your mind into thinking that you should and must act in a certain type of way based on the color of your skin. And if you're black, especially if you're a black youth, you have little to no room for mistakes. There is no room for error. No room for error for black youth. But if you're white youth, we're going to give you leeway. You can see the same thing in cases like with Kyle Rittenhouse, etc. Now, I know I'm kind of going all over the place. Like I said, tonight it's a bit of a stream of consciousness, and I want y'all to rock with me and kind of see where I'm going, laying the foundations, the bricks of all of this conversation. I want y'all to kind of rock with me and see where I'm going with this. Next, I want to play for you Judge Joe Brown speaking about the importance of maintaining labor, limiting labor in the labor market. And the way that they labor market, the way that they limit the labor in the labor market is by policing, by keeping surplus labor locked up. Listen to what Joe Brown has to say. Judge Joe Brown, the Honorable Judge Joe Brown, has to say on this topic.
The criminal justice system has morphed from a crime control device to a labor control device. See, labor is a commodity like wheat, corn, or cotton, and when you have a glut in a commodity, the price drops. And when the price drops for the commodity of labor, you get pissed off people like Timothy McVeigh. Anytime you get a commodity glut, you do three things to check it. One, you cut back production. Two, you subsidize the producer. And three, you store the surplus. We store our surplus in a jail cell instead of a grain silo. The subsidies, the welfare check, in perpetuity. And three, the cutting back of production is when the kids tune out, drug out, drop out, get knocked up too early, too often, listen to too much of the wrong kind of presentation where they ideate on the wrong things. They think about being pimps, hoes, drug dealers, and etc., instead of something constructive. They carry themselves the wrong way, talk the wrong way. They don't know how to diffuse the situation. They're always angry. They don't have vocational skills or academic excellence. They behave in a certain way, so where they live becomes an island of chaos, and the impacted community cannot use political mass action for constructive purposes, and it's a mess. And then you get good citizens paying attention to their safety, walking from front door to carport rather than getting ripped off economically. And when you store the surplus, there's an enormous market on feeding, clothing, transporting, communications involving them, security, and housing of the surplus.
Can America?
Okay. So you heard, oh, excuse me, I apologize. Let me pull that back up. All right. So you see what Judge Joe Brown has to say. The prison pipeline. The reason why these prisons are so full and they're incentivized not, I repeat, they are incentivized not to reform the people within. They want a high recidivism rate, meaning they want to release the people, and they want those people to continue to commit crimes so they can come back. The reason they want to do this is because they want to control the labor market. They want to limit the amount of competition that is coming, especially the competition from foundational Black Americans, but Black folks in general. They want to limit the competition. They don't want all these surplus folks, surplus men especially, competing with them in corporate America. That's not what they want. Okay? That is not what they want. And let me tell you this, this was going back to 2016, right before I went to law school. Sorry, time kind of gets away from me now, but this was either right before or right after I went to law school. After I was working as a paralegal, I got a job as a law clerk. Was it a law clerk or? I was working as a law clerk. I was working in the courthouses. And no. This was before the law clerk. I was working as a court reporter. So I was responsible for recording, all the proceedings within the courthouse. So I would go in, set up the microphone, set up my computer, and make sure that I take down all the information that's being said by the judge, all the information that's being said by the witnesses, all the information that's being said by the plaintiffs. I would record everything that's happening in the courtroom. And as I'm doing this, I'm just looking around because, mind you, I was a young man at this time, still pretty young, but I was a younger man at this time. And I was just observing. I've always been pro-Black. I've always been somewhat conscious, looking at the world around me, trying to see what exactly is going on here. So I would be very observant. And I would see all the people like myself at the time who was working. I'm working. I'm getting paid as a court reporter. I'm getting paid to show up at court every day and listen to different cases. I'm talking about divorce cases. I'm talking about criminal cases. I'm talking about civil lawsuits. I was listening to all different types of cases, and I was just soaking up free game, seeing, okay, wow, that's what it looks like when you're a father and you're trying to take care of your kids. You're trying to get custody of your kids, but your wife wants alimony, but she wants to take the kids from you. I'm listening to all these different cases. I'm recording it, and I'm looking at the whole situation within the courthouse. The judge is getting paid. I'm a court reporter. I'm getting paid. The lawyers are getting paid. The paralegals, because I was a paralegal also, the paralegals who set up the case for the lawyers to argue in court, they're getting paid. The bailiffs, the police officers who are there in the court, they're getting paid. And the only people that's not getting paid are the criminals, quote unquote, the quote unquote criminals who are in court, or the people who are getting sued, or the people who are, having their disputes adjudicated. The people, the plaintiffs, the people who are actually there trying to get their problems resolved are the only ones in the courthouse that's not getting paid. Everyone else is getting paid. Everyone else is getting paid. And I just realized this is a big racket. It's a racket. It's all a scheme. Listen to what I'm saying. I know I'm kind of all over the place. It's a stream of consciousness, so you might have a hard time keeping up. But just try to think about what I'm saying. It is all working together. They're all working together. From the courthouses, then you go down to the jail. I'm not proud of it, but I've been arrested on more than one occasion. I've been arrested before, and I've seen what it looks like when you go into the processing. You're surrounded by the cops. You're surrounded by the COs. You're surrounded by these different officers who are getting paid to keep you in a cage. Now, I've been arrested, but I'm not necessarily a bad guy. I'm not necessarily a bad guy. I'm a law-abiding citizen with a college degree, multiple degrees and certificates at this point. I had potential, and I can see how not only my decisions, but also I can see how, because I've had cases be thrown out and dismissed, I can see how racist cops, I'm talking about real, I've seen real, and that might be a story for another day, where I've seen And I've had my rights violated by cops. I've had cases put on me that I knew at the time when I was getting arrested would be thrown out. The officer arresting me knew that the case would be thrown out. The officer arresting me never even showed up to court because he knew it would be a waste of his time. And I prayed every day that he would show up in court so that I could get his name, which he refused to give me, so that I could sue him, or at the very least, I could write up an internal investigation against him. He never showed up. He hid his face, him and all his partners. So I've seen both sides of the coin. I've worked on the side of law enforcement as a paralegal. I've worked with lawyers. I've worked as court reporters. I've seen how it is to get paid working on the side of the judiciary. And I've seen the other side. I've seen this side of the court. I've seen the inside of court as both someone who's there with cuffs on, and I've been in court as someone who's there getting paid. And I can see it's like seeing the Matrix. It's like Neo in the Matrix. I can see the whole game. It's a whole system. And we are in it driving. We are the gas. We are in the gas. It is a racket. There's a lot of money being smoothed around with us. We're the commodity. We're the commodity. They have a saying. If you're taking part in the system and you're not being charged, meaning you're not paying to be there, then people are paying for you to be there. Let me say that again. If you're not paying to be there, people are paying for you to be there, which means take it for online. When you look at things like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, you are watching this YouTube channel. If you've made it this far in the video, you're watching this video for free. You're watching this video for free. They're not charging you to log into YouTube, but advertisers are paying YouTube to have you here watching. So if you're not paying to be here, if you're not paying to watch this YouTube video, then someone is paying for you to be here. The advertisers are paying, and the longer you stay here and watch, the more YouTube gets paid, and the more the advertisers are willing to pay. Same with the prison industrial complex. If you are a criminal, you're not paying to go to court. Hell, they'll give you a free lawyer, a public defender. Why? Because it's a big racket. Everyone's getting paid for you to be there. And if you choose to stop your criminality, young black man, young black youth, if you choose to make wise decisions, stay in school, read books every day, listen to audiobooks every day, educate yourself, compete, not only in corporate America, but compete in life, compete financially, economically, spiritually, physically. Make sure that you are competent, capable, and competitive in all areas of life. Young black man, you should be competent and competitive. You should be able to go out and earn a living. That's like hunting back in the old days. Back in the old days, you'd have to hunt. Well, today you got to hunt too. You got to get out here in this job market. You got to get out here and make money. You got to hunt. You got to make some money. You have to educate yourself. You have to read books. You have to listen to audiobooks. You have to educate yourself, not just because I want to pass a class and get through high school. No. High school's done. College done. You still need to read. Reading is a life-learned skill. It's a lifelong necessity. You must continue to educate yourself, get certificates. You must continue to educate yourself throughout life forever in order to remain a competent and competitive human individual, especially if you're a man, especially if you're a young black man, especially if you're a young black man. But regardless of age, if you're a man, if you're young, if you're black specifically, in order to be competitive and competent, it's necessary. It's necessary for you to go out and get money. It's necessary for you to educate yourself. It's necessary for you to care about your spiritual well-being, understanding that this life is temporary. You will not be on this planet. You will not be on this plane forever. You will one day transition. It is inevitable that you will die, and you should care about where you will go afterwards. You should care. Even if you say, hey, I don't believe in the Bible and I don't believe in the Quran, and when we die, it's just blackout. Yeah, okay, well, that might be your perspective, but what if you're wrong? If you're wrong, I would suggest, this is just a suggestion, take it or leave it, I would suggest you live your life in such a way that if you have to defend yourself before some type of judge in the afterlife, you have a case to make. You should live your life in such a way that if there is a God and God has questions to ask you about the way you lived your life, you should be able to say, hey, I did the best I could. I tried not to hurt people. I tried not to steal from people. I tried not to lie to people. I tried not to hurt my wife and hurt my kids. I tried to provide for people. I tried to give to the needy. I tried to help people when they were in need, when they were hurt. I tried to do more good than I did bad. That is spiritual wealth. And all of it is the totality of the circumstances. It's all important. It's not just, get money by any means necessary. Okay, but what happens when you die? You can't take the money with you, and then you might have to explain what you did for the money. I'm just saying you might. I'm just saying you might not believe in the word, you might not believe in the Quran, you might not believe in God. But let's just say for hypothetical situation, let's say there is a God. And let's say when you die, you're going to have to answer some questions. Would you want, I leave it to you, would you want to put yourself in a position where at least you have a case that you could make? Hey, God, I did some bad, but I tried to make my good outweigh my bad. Or would you say, hey, when I was on earth, I didn't believe in you. I did everything I could to be self-serving, to help myself and forget everybody else. Is that the message you want to tell God? If there is a God, is that what you want to tell him? I'll leave that for you. But it would be my advice. It would be my message to the young black youth to educate yourself as best you can. Care about not only your economics, but your spiritual wealth. Care about the totality of the circumstances. And I'm going to close out with this. Like I said, I know it's a bit of a free form tonight, a stream of consciousness tonight. But just to close it out and show you where I'm going with this. The reason there is a double standard, the reason why people are surprised when they see someone like me in corporate America, someone like me with their dreads hanging. They're surprised when they see someone like me making six figures in corporate America. It's because there are roadblocks intentionally placed in people like me's lives. They expect people like me not to get past those roadblocks. So when they see you in those meetings, when they see you on those Zoom calls, when they see you're getting six figures, when they see those pay stubs, and they confused. If racism is dead, why would they be confused? If racism is dead, why would they be surprised to see someone like me in corporate America? The answer is they know, whether subconsciously or consciously, there is some level of knowledge, knowing that there are roadblocks placed in the lives of young black youth that they expect us not to get past. And if the white supremacists have done their job correctly, then people like me wouldn't be able to be in corporate America getting six figures. But I hope this is a positive message to all the black youth. You can get past those roadblocks, because I have. You don't have to sell out, because I haven't. You can support and fight for your people. You can fight for reparations and care about black folks. You can grow your hair and let your dreads hang. You can do it all, and you can still make money in corporate America. And I'm telling you, I've done it. I hope this is motivation to the black youth. Don't give up. Just know that there are roadblocks in front of you. They're going to try to get you while you're young. They're going to try to get you while you're broke. They're going to try to get you before you're educated. The young black male is target number one. If you can get past the youth, I remember, and I know I said I was going to close out, but let me give you this. When I was when I first moved to DC, well, not first moved to DC, but when I was moving to DC, back and forth from Atlanta to DC, and for high school, and I was doing all types of bad stuff, going to school in Southeast DC. Shout out DC, shout out Minnesota Avenue, shout out Friendship Edison, Friendship Edison down there on Minnesota Avenue in Southeast DC. Man, I was doing all types of bad stuff. Sneaking blades in my shoes, trying to get, because we had metal detectors. When I went to my high school, we had metal detectors. So I was sneaking blades in my shoes. We would take the locks from our locker and we would put them on our knuckles and get on the train, get on the metro in DC, and they would cut off the lights. They would break into the conductor's train station. They would every car, every train has a conductor station where the conductor is able to drive the train. And I remember it was some dudes, and this goes to show you these guys were smart. They were, they're probably in prison now. I know one of my guys, he just got out of jail recently. But they were, these black youth were able to, kids, I'm talking about 14, 15 years old, would break into the train conductor's station, cut off all the lights on the train as soon as you hit the tunnel. So now you're in DC, you're going in the tunnel, you got a train full of kids. It's around 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. All the adults are at work. So now you got a train full of kids, 14, 15 years old. It's pitch black. Now some of the kids are in the back, trying to get it in with the ladies. And then some of the kids are in there trying to get busy. You see what I'm saying? Trying to get busy, throw some combinations. I would say this. I forget where I was. That's where I was going with this. At that time, when I was living that, when I was just a kid, putting locks on my knuckles, getting busy on train stations, I didn't think I was going to live this long. I didn't think I was going to live this long. When I was 14, 15, I just moved to DC. I had this country accent because I'm from Atlanta. So I'm from Atlanta, I'm talking country, and everybody on there that is disrespected. Oh, who's this country guy? The girls love me, but the guys hated me because the girls loved me because I had this country accent and I was the new kid in DC. So they, any opportunity, I was a skinny dude back at that time. I'm skinny now, but I was skinny when I was like 14, 15. So, it's a soft target, let's hit them. So I was getting busy. all the time. I didn't know I was going to live this long. I did not know. When I went to my freshman orientation in high school, the principal of my school told us, hey, look to your left and look to your right. Only one of you was going to make it out of this high school. This was high school orientation, 9th grade, Southeast Washington, D.C., Friendship Edison, high school. My principal told us, look to your left, look to your right. Only one of you is going to get out of this high school without going to jail. Only one of you is going in. This is what they told me. I did not know. I did not know I was going to live this long. But my message to the youth is, you would be surprised. You should live as if you will live long. Because if you say, oh, well, I'm not going to live long, so I'm just going to go out in a blaze of glory. I'm going to go out shooting and thugging with my friends because I'm not going to live long. You would be surprised, because if you do live long, then you're in prison, but you're still alive. Versus if you have the mentality of, I am going to live long, and I do have time to accumulate wealth, accumulate knowledge, accumulate skills, accumulate the ability to be competent. If you move with that mentality, you just might be able to make it out with your freedom. You might be able to make it out with something to show for yourself, some accomplishments to be proud of. This is a message to the young black youth. You are target number one. But if you can just survive, if you can just keep moving, keep going, stay positive and keep building, stay productive. If you can stay productive and get past the youth, get past your teen years, get past your early 20s, wait till you start to get to your 30s. If you can I'm telling you, it gets greater later. It gets greater later. I'm telling you, take my word for it. It gets greater later. It gets better. Young black man, don't think, oh, I'm not going to make it to 25. Remember Kanye? When I was a kid, Kanye was still young, college dropout. Kanye had this song, we wasn't supposed to make it past 25. Joke's on you, we still alive. Throw your hands up in the sky and say, we don't care what people say. We don't care what people say. That was a song when I was growing up, when I was a young man in high school. We were singing, hey, we wasn't supposed to make it past 25. Because when I was a kid, I didn't think I was going to see 25. Truth be told, I didn't think I was going to live this long. Young black man, and I know a lot of people who have the same mentality as me at the time. But young black man, you can make it past 25. You can have something to show for your life if you just stay positive, you stay motivated, you stay productive. stay out of trouble, man, and live as if you got a future. Live as if you got something to fight for. Live as if you got something to do, something to prove. Not, oh, I gotta prove how tough I am. Listen, you're gonna take some losses. You're gonna take some losses, and if you try to just prove how tough you are all the time, your losses will double. Sometimes you're gonna have to take a loss and just keep it moving. Take that loss and just charge it to the game. Swallow your pride and let it go. If you want to survive past 25, sometimes you're gonna have to take an L. Sometimes you're gonna have to be a victim. Let me say that. Sometimes you're gonna have to be a victim. Young black man. Trust me what I'm telling you. The whole message of the story, like I said, this was a bit of a stream of consciousness tonight. But this is really just a message to the young black youth, man. Just understand that you can make something of your life. And regardless of how you look, regardless of how people perceive you, it's all about what you're able to bring to the table as far as skills and competency. So, yes, people will be surprised when they see people that look like me, people that look like you in positions of power, positions of success, quote unquote success, making six figures in corporate America. They'll be surprised when they see stuff like that happen because they know that there are roadblocks that you face that these other folks aren't facing. But let me tell you this, if you are able to make it past those roadblocks, it just makes the fruit at the end that much sweeter. If you made it this far in the video, hit the thumbs up button. If you enjoyed the conversation tonight, be sure to smash the subscribe button for more content just like this. All right, I want to see you on the next one. We talk about so many different things. We got the audio rocking tonight. We got different clips, different conversations, and a perspective you probably haven't heard before. So hit the subscribe button and come on back. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.